I am the long-lost true heiress of the wealthiest family. On the day my biological brother brought me home, the adopted daughter pushed me to the ground because my hands were dirty with mud. Before I could even retaliate, my biological mother slapped her twice. Who do you think you are? A mere adopted daughter daring to hit my own flesh and blood. Wow, this mom is so cool. I like her. I've decided that once I return to this family, I'm never leaving again. I'm the long-lost daughter of the wealthiest man, separated for 20 years. When my biological brother Kevin found me, I was busy playing with a handful of clay, waving a fresh paternity test. He excitedly hugged me. Sarah, you are my biological sister. I knew I wasn't mistaken. Come with me, big brother will take you home. I happen to have important matters to attend to, and going to the billionaire's family could kill two birds with one stone. Returning to acknowledge the family and incidentally checking the happiness index would be a perfect arrangement. Thus, in a daze, I followed Kevin onto the car heading home. Kevin kept explaining the family situation to me along the way, afraid of missing even the slightest detail. He said the one thing the family never lacks is money, with businesses spanning multiple sectors like clothing, food, housing, and transportation. All major and minor family matters are decided by Mom, who also holds a notable position in the business circle. No matter how you hear it, it feels like he's blatantly flaunting wealth and praising his mom in every possible way. In our family, apart from Mom and Dad, there's just your brother, me, the rest are the housekeeper auntie who takes care of our daily needs and the driver. Oh, and there's also a daughter of Dad's friend staying with us. But she's not important. Just pretend she doesn't exist. I frowned slightly, having heard that the first step for a real heiress returning home often involves facing some initial challenges. Life in a billionaire's family is never easy, is it? Glancing at my clothes, there still seemed to be some mud stains that weren't completely cleaned off. Walking through the door in this muddy, dirt-covered outfit, what exactly awaits me? At this thought, I couldn't help but feel a faint sense of anticipation. From what I know, the adopted daughter in that household has quite the background. As soon as I entered, a charming girl dressed in designer brands came running toward me. She beamed with excitement as she rushed to Kevin. Brother Kevin, you're back. This must be Heidi, the adopted sister Kevin had mentioned, adhering to the principle of not hitting a smiling face. After all, we still had to live under the same roof. A sweet smile played at the corners of my lips as I raised my hand to greet her. Hello, I'm... Yet she instinctively took a step back and shoved me away with force. Caught off guard, I lost my balance and fell to the ground. My ankle was throbbing with pain. Brother Kevin, is she the new housekeeper? Ew, she's so dirty. Make her leave. Kevin rushed over to support me, his face filled with heartache as he looked at my swollen ankle, trembling with anger. Heidi, she's not the housekeeper, she's my sister Sarah. Please show her some respect. And also, you just pushed Sarah without any reason. Apologize to her right now. Heidi widened her eyes, looking me up and down with disdain. Little sister, her, Kevin, you've only known her for a few days. Who knows if she's a fraud? Our family's door isn't open to just anyone who comes along. Kevin helped me up and shielded me by his side, his gaze sharp. She's my biological sister. I don't hit women, but if you don't apologize today, don't blame me for being impolite. Heidi, provoked by his shout, grew even more defiant. She stomped her foot indignantly. Brother Kevin, how dare you scold me for her sake? I'm telling Dad. What kind of logic is this? She was the one being rude first, and now she's turning the tables on me. I instantly felt annoyed. Growing up, even my foster father never dared to lay a hand on me. Before I left, my foster father told me it's okay to act out sometimes. No need to tolerate everything. It fits the persona I'm supposed to maintain. Nothing can't be solved with a good fight. I had just steadied myself, rolling up my sleeves to slap her. A furious figure swiftly cut in front of me. Before I could react, Heidi had already taken 2 slaps to the face. Who do you think you are? A mere adopted daughter daring to hit my own flesh and blood. Own flesh and blood. Is this really my biological mother, connected to me by blood? That agile figure and swift, precise movements were just too cool, even more impressive than my adoptive father. I could barely contain myself from clapping and cheering. Then I blurted out, Mom, yes. She responded instantly, her face instantly lighting up with a loving smile, as if the fierce heroine from just now was never her. She placed both hands on my shoulders, looking me up and down several times. Then she pulled me into a tight embrace, her eyes brimming with tears. Sarah, this is clearly my own daughter, my dear. I've searched for you so desperately, you've suffered so much all these years. My dear, don't worry, Mom will make it up to you from now on. Kevin said I went missing when I was 3 years old. All these years, Mom, and he never gave up searching for me. Finally, heaven rewards the faithful. I was found and raised by my foster father. My foster father was a workaholic and a lifelong bachelor. From as far back as I can remember, I never knew what a mother's love felt like. I used to envy my classmates when they'd talk about, my mom says. And I envied those who had their mothers pick them up or drop them off at school. Suddenly having a biological mother appear now feels quite surreal. Perhaps it's the bond of blood, but I don't feel any resistance toward her. On the contrary, my heart feels warm. Standing nearby, Kevin turned away to secretly wipe his eyes upon seeing this scene. I patted my mother's back and comforted her with a smile, saying, Mom, brother, I'm back. Thank you for never giving up on finding me. Kevin held me and Mom in his arms, saying excitedly, It's good to have you back. It's good to have you back. From now on, our family will never be separated again. This scene infuriated Heidi, whose face twisted in anger as she kept muttering to herself, You're all bullying me. I'm going to tell Dad. My mom laughed when she heard this. She pinched Heidi's chin and said with disdain, Oh, really? Then try and see who in this family actually has the final say. Just then, there was a noise at the door. Before anyone appeared, a voice was heard, I'm back. Heidi heard the noise and rushed excitedly to greet him, but before leaving, she gave me a haughty humph. Daddy's back. You're in for it later. Heidi tearfully threw herself into Frank's arms. Dad, you're finally back. Mom and my brothers have been bullying me. Frank stared at Heidi for a long moment. Heidi, what happened to your face? Who hit you? Come on, let's get some medicine on it. If it gets worse, it won't look good. He was about to take Heidi to find the first aid kit but was stopped by the 3 people in front of him. Heidi lowered her head, sniffling without saying a word. My mother crossed her arms and glared at the 2 of them with disdain. I hit her. Kevin mirrored my mother's posture exactly. I looked at the expressions of these 2 people, completely baffled, and decisively chose to remain strategically silent. Kevin spoke up, his tone cold. Dad, this is my biological sister, Sarah. She just came home today. As soon as the words fell, Frank quickly pushed Heidi aside and hurried over to me in small, quick steps. He squinted his eyes, looking even weirder than the subway grandpa squinting, sizing me up from head to toe. Then, with a face full of disgust and conflict, This is my daughter, really? Or just some gold digger who popped up out of nowhere? And also, why are you all ganging up on Heidi? Don't you know how tragic her background is? Huh? What? I thought to myself, what kind of twisted logic is this? What does Heidi's pitiful background have to do with me? It's not like I'm the one who made her life miserable. Haven't I been more pitiful, separated from my mother for 20 years? I was left speechless by his reaction and somewhat at a loss, sending a silent plea for help to Kevin. Kevin shielded me behind him, giving me a reassuring look. Sarah, don't be afraid. Just watch how Mom handles this. Before I could process what he meant, my mom exploded over there. She grabbed a baseball bat and started whacking Frank wildly, shouting righteously, Frank, did a donkey kick your brain today or did you forget to take your meds? What gold digger? Sarah was personally arranged by Kevin for the paternity test, even without a DNA test. Anyone with half a brain can tell she's my daughter just by looking at her face, and here you are, not only failing to care about your own daughter's return but even siding with outsiders. Seems like you've gone 3 days without a beating and now you're tearing the roof tiles off. I stared at this scene, my mouth hanging open wide enough to fit 2 tea eggs. Kevin, however, looked completely unfazed and signaled for me not to take it to heart. Frank started begging for mercy in no time, putting on such a pitiful act of, don't bully me, master, that it was impossible not to laugh. But I didn't miss the flash of ruthlessness when he lowered his head or the venom in Heidi's eyes. What happened next only confirmed my suspicions. These 2 weren't as simple as they appeared on the surface. After updating my adoptive father about the situation at home that night, I went to grab something to eat. I heard rustling sounds coming from the doorway, peering through the peephole. I saw this person truly couldn't hold back anymore. When going downstairs, I deliberately didn't turn on the lights, pretending not to notice the object at my feet or the person hiding around the corner. My foot slipped, and I instinctively reached for the handrail. A sudden, unexpected push from behind sent me tumbling down the stairs. When I opened my eyes again, I saw Mom and Kevin looking anxious in the hospital room. Sarah, you're awake. how do you feel? Are you feeling any discomfort? You really scared me and Mom's eyes were red as she held me in her arms. Kevin remained relatively calm. Sarah, do you remember how you fell? I didn't answer but instead asked him, where are Frank and Heidi? Their company said there's an emergency to handle, so they'll come later. I hesitated for a moment before speaking. Mom, brother, my fall wasn't an accident. It was intentional, both exclaimed in unison. What? I pulled up the surveillance footage on my phone. I was worried there might be conflict with Heidi after I just returned, so I installed a mini camera by the door as a precaution. The video clearly shows Heidi scattering something at my doorstep. When my foot slipped, she gave me a push from behind, causing me to fall. Mom and Kevin were furious after watching. Heidi is too wicked. We can't keep her at home anymore. She must move out. I held Mom's hand in return, looking serious. Mom, brother, listen to me. Heidi isn't as simple as she appears on the surface. Having her move out of the house is just the first step. She must also be removed from company affairs. This relates to another purpose of my return, but I can't disclose too much for now. Please understand. First, use the excuse that we don't get along to make her move out. Once I recover, I'll gradually take over her responsibilities at the company. There are hidden circumstances behind my disappearance back then. This matter is still under investigation, so everyone should keep it quiet to avoid alerting anyone prematurely. Mom and Kevin exchanged a glance, their expressions serious. In the end, they agreed with my approach. As soon as Heidi entered the hospital room, my mom slapped her twice, hard. Heidi, it was actually you who pushed Sarah down the stairs. From today on, you're moving out. Upon hearing this, Heidi's eyes welled up with tears. Mom, what are you saying? How could I have pushed Sarah? Kevin pulled up the video and threw it in front of her. To test the company's product performance, I previously installed a camera in the hallway. It clearly recorded you pushing Sarah. Heidi, the evidence is here. You can't deny it. I'm truly disappointed in you. You must reflect on this seriously. Once Sarah recovers from her injuries, you'll hand over all your current responsibilities to her. Heidi looked incredulous, her eyes bloodshot as she covered her face. How can you convict me based on just one video? Did you even discuss this with Dad? My mother brushed her sleeves. My company, my home, do I need to ask for others' opinions to deal with someone? At that moment, Frank entered and, seeing the tense scene, asked in confusion, what's going on, Heidi? Who hit your face? Heidi's tears fell down. Mom and brother are kicking me out of the house. And they even said they'll let Sarah take over my job. I can accept moving out. But why do they have to cut off my career too, Dad? Isn't this too unfair? Why does everything revolve around Sarah now that she's back? Frank rubbed her hair. Don't be afraid, Daddy will stand up for you. It's just a little conflict between two kids. How serious can it be? There's no need to tear the family apart over something so trivial. Before he could finish speaking, I covered my face and started crying. Mom, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cause so much trouble for the family. As soon as I came back, I'd better leave. I'm afraid one day my legs will be crippled and my arms broken too. Woo-woo. My mother looked at me with heartache and quickly hugged me. Sarah, this is your home. We're not going anywhere. You'll stay with Mom from now on. After saying this, she raised her eyes to look at the two people opposite. Frank, Heidi must move out of the house. If you have any objections, you can leave with her. As for work matters, we'll discuss it after Sarah recovers and returns to the company. Seeing that my mother wouldn't budge, Frank's temper flared up. Fine, Heidi and I will move out. We won't be in the way of your perfect little family of 3 anymore. Heidi took advantage of everyone else being out and glared at me fiercely before leaving. Sarah, don't get too cocky. I won't let you off the hook. I raised an eyebrow and chuckled lightly. Be my guest. What's a little provocation like this? I'm actually afraid you won't make a move. After recovering from my injury, I was arranged to join the trading company where Heidi worked. To keep a low profile, I didn't enter the company as the Song family heiress but went through the regular internal referral process. On my first day, Heidi set up a series of traps for me. She had already tipped off the HR department in advance, assigning me as a sales assistant. My direct supervisor Simon is Heidi's loyal lapdog. He demanded I complete 50 customer requirement analyses within a single day, and insisted they must be richly illustrated with graphics, while forbidding me from utilizing any internal company resources for assistance. This is blatant torture, plain and simple. I immediately questioned him about the unreasonable workload assignment, pointing out that it would be difficult for an ordinary employee to complete it within a single day. yet he responded with a straight face, "Sarah, this is a test of your abilities, don't let me down, I only care about the results." Then I overheard him secretly calling Heidi in the stairwell. "Heidi, you can count on me to teach her a proper lesson." Hearing this, I sneered and immediately formed a plan in my mind. When it was time to clock out, I was about to leave but got caught by Simon. "Sarah, today's work must be done today. Have you finished the tasks assigned to you, leaving without completing them? Is this how you do things? What kind of work attitude is this? I don't care which back door you came through. If you can't get the job done, get out." During the rush hour after work, a crowd had gathered at the elevator, and clueless colleagues were standing by, watching the drama unfold. Just as everyone thought I would slink back to work overtime, I smiled instead. "Mr. Simon, it seems you didn't check your email or messages this afternoon, otherwise, how could you not know that I already sent you the report earlier today? Finish today's work today, is what you said, so please review the report and give me feedback today so I can make improvements and optimizations tomorrow. Additionally, I believe this report has reference value for other departments as well, so I've copied the relevant responsible parties on it. Mr. Simon, don't forget to check it later. Looking forward to your feedback. Bye-bye." Amidst everyone's stunned gazes, I squeezed into the elevator and left work with a flourish. During dinner, Kevin looked at me with concern. "Sarah, how was your day at the company? Who's the clueless one that assigned you that lousy job? Want me to step in and teach them a lesson for you?" My mom immediately perked up upon hearing this. "What happened, Sarah? Who bullied you at the company? Tell me, and I'll fire them to vent your anger." Seeing the two of them sitting there so seriously, I couldn't help but laugh. "Mom, brother, don't worry, it's all part of my plan, and besides, I've already solved it with my brother's help. Heidi just wants me to back down, but all her tricks are beneath contempt." Kevin remained frowning. "Sarah, based on what you said earlier, they must have bigger moves planned. You can't let your guard down." I shook his arm and cooed, "Bro, don't worry, playing the fool is my specialty. I'm just waiting for them to slip up and show their true colors." Simon replied to the email with a screen full of revision comments, clearly nitpicking for no reason. Everyone else's responses were uniformly along the lines of, "Great job, very valuable, thanks for sharing." What's more, he actually forgot to reply to me individually. Everyone else received his lengthy critiques. Finally, it was concluded with the company's rotating CEO Kevin's feedback, reviewed, excellent. No further changes needed. After I thoroughly outmaneuvered him, Simon avoided me for a long time whenever we crossed paths. His expression was anything but natural, but I knew neither he nor Heidi would give up so easily. Sure enough, he took me with him after work that day. He said it was to accompany him in entertaining a client. Only when we arrived at the private room did I see Heidi was also there. The client, knowing she was the adopted daughter of the Song family and part of the company's management, treated her with great courtesy, but as Simon's assistant, I didn't receive such favorable treatment. During the dinner, the two clients kept urging me to drink. Out of politeness, I had 2 glasses. However, they became increasingly aggressive, seemingly determined not to stop until I was drunk. Heidi and Simon just watched from the sidelines, even joining in the pressure to drink. Sarah, sincerity in business negotiations at the dinner table is measured by the wine in your glass. You're new here, so learn more from the seniors. That's right. Whether the contract gets signed depends on whether the beauty drinks or not. Only when we're all happily drunk can we continue discussing this collaboration. I slammed my glass upside down on the table with a loud clang and sneered. Since you all enjoy urging others to drink so much, why don't you have a few rounds yourselves? Excuse me, but I won't be joining you. I'm leaving now. With that, I grabbed my bag and stormed out, slamming the door behind me, not giving them any time to react. Trying to get me drunk, not a chance. In the end, to keep the clients happy, it was Heidi and Simon who had to put on smiles and drink through 2 rounds. Hoist with his own petard. Serves him right. The next day, Heidi and Simon stormed up to me in a huff. Sarah, do you have any idea how much trouble you caused yesterday? How dare you openly offend a client at the dinner table? Sarah, if it weren't for Mr. Simon and me fighting to protect you, the client's complaint would probably have reached corporate headquarters by now. Sarah, given the severity of your mistake this time, our department has decided to terminate your employment. Please go to HR to complete the necessary procedures. Before I could even voice my objection, a commotion erupted at the door. Kevin arrived, casting a sharp glance around with an imposing presence that commanded respect without anger. Don't you all have work to do? What's the meaning of gathering here like this? Is this a marketplace? Simon flatteredly ran up to him with an awkward smile. Mr. Kevin, it was this little assistant who offended the client at last night's dinner. We were just about to deal with her. Kevin raised an eyebrow, his tone ambiguous. Oh, is that so? As the person involved, why don't you tell everyone properly what happened last night? He looked at me and gave me a look, signaling me to explain. Mr. Kevin, Mr. Simon and the client kept pressuring me to drink. I already said I couldn't handle it, but they still forced me. I couldn't take it anymore and left. I believe this kind of thing probably isn't the first time it's happened. You should conduct a thorough internal investigation, see if any other female colleagues have had similar experiences. Is getting people drunk to discuss business part of our company's culture? Probably not. Expecting Kevin's appearance and my boldness, Simon nervously signaled Heidi with his eyes. Heidi put on a professional smile and affectionately linked arms with Kevin. Brother Kevin, Mr. Simon is a veteran at the company and has worked tirelessly for performance. He was just trying to protect the client. Sarah just joined and isn't very familiar with client business yet. You can't blame her. She's still young after all. But one thing at a time, although no substantial losses were incurred, the company still needs to make a statement. Otherwise it will be hard to convince everyone. Heidi's words were indeed clever. On the surface, she offended no one, but in reality, she was forcing Kevin to make an example of me. Kevin raised his hand to push her away. His tone icy. Heidi, this is the company, mind your manners and attitude. I've got a rough idea of the situation, let's handle this by the book. Both sides share the blame. Simon failed to understand his team members, which is a management oversight. His quarterly bonus is revoked. If there are similar complaints again, they'll be dismissed. Sarah, since you're not cut out for sales, you'll be transferred to the finance department as an assistant. There won't be any complicated socializing there. Overnight, Simon's financial prospects took a hit, and he was completely deflated. Heidi wanted to argue further, but Kevin stopped her with a glance. I hummed a tune while packing my things at my workstation when a message from Kevin popped up on my phone. Sarah, how was it? What score would you give my performance just now? I couldn't help but laugh and showered him with praise. Flawless acting, impeccable performance. Big brother is the best. This was what Kevin, Mom, and I had previously agreed upon, to send me into the finance department unexpectedly. This was also my sole purpose for entering the company. There, I should quickly find the clues I was looking for. I just didn't expect that the finance director Fiona was also bribed by Heidi. When I went to the finance office, she didn't even lift her head. She just coldly instructed, sort and paste the invoices on the desk one by one in the next 2 days. Then initiate the reimbursement and payment process in the system. If you don't understand the process, check the tutorial yourself. I don't have time to teach you step by step. Pasting invoices is a technical task that can reveal subtle clues. During system registration, I noticed several large payments that didn't match the sales categories. Manager, there are issues with these payments. I personally recommend temporarily withholding them to avoid causing losses for the company. Fiona looked impatient. Just follow the procedure and apply for payment. A little assistant like you has no business meddling in operational matters. Do you really think you're the group auditor? Do you live by the Pacific Ocean? Why do you have to stick your nose into everything? Unbelievable. Without showing any reaction, I quietly gathered all the questionable documents and secretly photographed them for my adoptive father. For the next few days at work, I stopped contradicting her and simply did whatever she asked. A few days later, I received a reply from my adoptive father. These accounts indeed had issues. Quickly, I followed the trail of these materials and uncovered a chain of people behind the project. I compiled and packaged the evidence, then anonymously sent it to the group's audit department. A week later, the group's audit team sent personnel on site to review the company's accounts from the past 5 years. This move uncovered a large number of individuals involved in falsifying accounts and embezzling public funds, from top-level executives down to frontline sales staff. The amounts involved were enormous, causing a major stir within the group. After these individuals were apprehended, Heidi came to me. Sarah, was it you who tampered with the group audit project before? Do you know that your report has paralyzed multiple business lines of the company, making it impossible to advance many projects? I looked at her in confusion. Heidi, what are you talking about? I'm just a half-baked amateur who can't even understand a balance sheet. Every day, all I do is stick invoices. Just stick invoices. What audit project report are you talking about? I don't get it, and I can't understand it either. By the way, why are you in such a hurry now? Could it be that you have a stake in all these projects behind the scenes? She was left speechless by my retort. Don't talk nonsense. How could I possibly be associated with those who harm the company's interests? I'm just worried about affecting the company's normal operations. Dad hasn't been able to rest properly for days because of this matter. I shrugged my shoulders and looked at her meaningfully. If it has nothing to do with you, then that's good. Since it's about removing pests from the company, there's nothing to hesitate about. If the position is understaffed, just hire more next time. Remember to find people with clean backgrounds. Don't step into the same pitfall twice. The company laid off a large number of employees, and during this transition period, some positions were indeed overloaded. Some roles required one person to do the work of two, leading to widespread complaints in the office. Without reliable subordinates to handle tasks, many things had to be done personally. Heidi and the people behind her naturally couldn't sit still anymore. She took the opportunity to indirectly spread the word, implying in her words that I was the one who reported the previous audit. For a time, many colleagues harbored resentment toward me, creating obstacles for me in various situations. In the office, I was isolated, reimbursement documents were unclear, and work communication was refused. The most excessive incident was when they publicly pranked me at the company annual gala. That day, they locked me in the dressing room, causing me to completely miss my own performance. When I finally rushed back to the event, the host criticized me with cold words. Sarah, if you didn't want to perform, you shouldn't have signed up for the program. What's the meaning of canceling at the last minute? Do you have any idea how much extra work your personal issues have caused behind the scenes? The people below began whispering among themselves, casting disdainful glances my way. Heidi and Frank sat below, watching the drama unfold with amused smiles but saying nothing, pushing aside those blocking my way with force. I quickly walked to the center of the stage and cast my phone screen onto the main display. I snatched the microphone from the host's hand. Hello, do I need to teach you the principle of not commenting without knowing the full picture? Accusing me without distinguishing right from wrong. I'm really curious how much benefit you've received from them. The video clearly captured several colleagues conspiring in the hallway, documenting the entire process of their plan and actions to trap me in the dressing room. Heidi was also among those who appeared and showed their faces in the footage. Once the video was exposed, the scene erupted in an uproar. Heidi, do you have anything to explain? Bullying in the workplace at your age. Is this amusing to you? Heidi's face turned red and then pale as she kept repeating, I didn't. This is outright slander. Anyone with eyes could see the video couldn't be faked. Given her status as the adopted daughter of the Song family and Frank's presence, the administrative director stepped in to smooth things over. Sarah, this was probably just everyone trying to play a joke on you to bond. Don't take it to heart. Today is the company annual party. Do me a favor and let this matter rest. I ignored her, staring straight at Heidi and Frank. Frank couldn't save face anymore, his expression darkening as he angrily spoke. What nonsense. Is this really such a big deal that you have to make such a scene? Get down from there. Aren't you ashamed? Go back and think carefully about why it was you who got locked up and not anyone else. You don't usually get along well with your colleagues. And everyone just wanted to lighten the mood with you at the annual party. What's wrong with that? If you keep harping on this matter, you might as well pack up and go home. Stop embarrassing yourself here. Frank's words were the final nail in the coffin, completely shifting the blame onto me. Everyone present pointed fingers at me. Heidi's mouth curled up like a peacock spreading its tail. At that moment, the venue doors swung wide open. My mother's voice came through with overwhelming force. Let me see who dares to play workplace bullying here. Kevin, holding my mother's arm, slowly walked toward the main stage. He even deliberately made a show of winking at me, his whole demeanor screaming, see how cool your bro is. With an air of smugness, the host quickly and respectfully yielded the center position to my mother, bowing obsequiously as he handed her the microphone. Chairman, Mr. Kevin, what brings you here today? Having both of you grace the annual meeting of the trading company is truly inspiring for us employees. My mother let out a disdainful humph. Took the microphone without even glancing at him. If I hadn't come today, I wouldn't have known how much my daughter has suffered here. The host, like everyone else, looked completely bewildered. Chairman, everyone here has been very kind to Miss Heidi. No one has mistreated her. Just now, this Sarah falsely accused Miss Heidi, and President Song also spoke up to stop it from below. Heidi sat on pins and needles, nervously tugging at Frank's sleeve. Frank soothingly patted the back of her hand and spoke to my mother. Madam, today is the annual gathering of the trading company. Since you've come all this way, why not sit down and enjoy the performance properly? My mother completely ignored him and announced on the spot, I'm not talking about Heidi, the fake, but my real daughter Sarah. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone gasped in shock. They were probably all recalling in their minds whether they had ever participated in making trouble for me. Under the stunned gazes of the crowd, I walked up to my mother, mom, brother. The family of three was the envy of everyone. Next, my mother announced a bombshell that left everyone stunned. Based on the audit results of the trading company and the 360-degree evaluation of the management team, I hereby announce: Frank and Heidi are hereby relieved of all their positions in the trading company, and all related matters will be handed over to Kevin. This isn't a spur-of-the-moment decision, but one made after careful consideration. Anyone who disagrees can pack their bags and leave with them. Amidst everyone's stunned silence, I left the venue with my mother and brother. I was happily enjoying the late-night snack my mom lovingly made at home when Kevin snatched the plate away from me. Sarah, we should have revealed your identity back then you wouldn't have had to suffer their bullying. By the way, can you wrap up the investigation you were working on before any big moves coming next? You'd better give me a little heads up so I can arrange protection for you in advance. Otherwise, Mom and I will end up with heart attacks from all your surprises. Right, Mom? My mom nodded. Your brother is right. None of us can bear to lose you again. After pondering for a while, I finally spoke. Mom, brother, I've already sent all the information we gathered to my adoptive father. He said it was very useful. The arrest warrant application is currently in progress. I believe the police will take action very soon. When it comes to protection, Frank and Heidi might fight tooth and nail, risking everything in a desperate struggle. Make sure to bring bodyguards whenever you go out recently, and stay vigilant. My mother held Kevin's and my hands, her gaze earnest. Our family of three must stay safe and never be apart again. According to my adoptive father's investigation, I was actually abandoned by Frank. Heidi is the daughter of Frank and his first love. Back then, he was just a social climber. After marrying my mother, he tried to climb the social ladder but realized she wasn't the delicate flower he had imagined, and in the company, the decision-making power always circles back to my mom, who completely dominates him in every aspect. Men are ambitious by nature, and under this suffocating pressure, Frank devised a sinister plan. After making me disappear, he seized the opportunity to bring Heidi home under the guise of being the daughter of an old friend, all for the purpose of lying low with her later, gradually eroding my mom's company, and used my mother's company as a cover to achieve their hidden ambitions. Fortunately, I encountered my adoptive father on the way to being abducted. He was a police officer at that time. The genetic database was not well established, and the interprovincial system was not fully interconnected. My family's social status was sensitive, so my mother and Kevin rarely appeared in public, limiting the information available, with Frank deliberately obstructing the investigation. Several leads my adoptive father had tracked down were maliciously cut off. Over the years, my journey to find my biological family has been quite bumpy. Under my adoptive father's influence all these years, I've also become a warrior in the criminal investigation system. Half a year ago, my adoptive father was transferred to this city and saw my mother's first televised interview appearance. He noticed the resemblance between us and, after careful investigation, speculated that we might be mother and daughter. He secretly arranged for my mother's DNA to be collected and compared with mine, which confirmed his earlier suspicion. At the time, a cultural relic smuggling case he was investigating turned out to have financial ties to my mother's company. To avoid alerting the suspects, he and the task force devised a meticulous plan, which I then carried out undercover. My photo was deliberately handed to Kevin by someone I arranged. First, pique Kevin's curiosity. Then have him take me for DNA testing to verify. After confirming my identity, he naturally brought me home. Then, using the conflict between me and Heidi as an excuse to enter the company's inner circle, Frank and Heidi are both sharp individuals, so I can't blatantly parachute into the finance department. This led to the series of disturbances staged earlier. Remove the claws and fangs to lure the snake out of its hole. Everything is progressing quite smoothly. The investigation results indicate that the masterminds behind the artifact smuggling have been identified as Frank and Heidi. Having been dismissed on the spot by my mother, the two would surely sense something amiss and develop a desire for revenge. What we need to do is turn their scheme to our advantage and aim for a decisive strike. That day, just as I was getting off work, I was abducted with a hood over my head in the underground parking lot. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself in a dilapidated factory building. Frank, Heidi, and a bunch of thugs were glaring menacingly around me. Frank, Heidi, just say it. What do you want with me after kidnapping me? Heidi slapped me hard twice and even kicked me a couple of times. Humph, this is payback for your mom hitting me before. What do you want? Since you ruined our plans, of course we're going to make you pay for it. Sarah, I've had enough of you. Don't worry. I'll make sure the next few days are a living hell for you. I sneered. Frank, I'm your own daughter. How could you bring yourself to do this? Instead of enjoying the good life at home, you insist on doing these shady things. What's in it for you? Frank, however, looked disgusted. What biological daughter? The sight of your face reminds me of your detestable mother. I've had enough of her long ago. Let me tell you the truth. Frank, only recognize Heidi as my daughter in this lifetime. As for what's in it for me, of course, it's the satisfaction in my heart. Thinking about how I've been suppressed by your mother all these years makes me furious. The thought of trampling that high and mighty woman underfoot and tormenting her fills me with joy. As for you, we abandoned you back then, never expecting you'd actually find your way back. You must have some luck, but this time, you definitely won't be so fortunate. Once we get the ransom from your mother, we'll throw you into the sea to feed the fish, making sure you disappear from this earth completely, dreaming of taking the money and living a luxurious life abroad. Everyone present looked excited. I couldn't help but feel a bit sorry for them. The command to move from my adoptive father came through my earpiece. Seizing the moment when they weren't paying attention, I used a hidden razor blade to cut the ropes binding my wrists. A team of armed SWAT officers stormed in, apprehending Frank and his small-time accomplices. In a panic, Heidi grabbed me and held a knife to my throat, attempting to use me as a hostage. Unexpectedly, I flipped her over with a shoulder throw and pinned her to the ground. Heidi, I formally notify you that you're under arrest. Even as they were handcuffed and escorted away, Frank and Heidi still couldn't believe they had been caught. How is this possible? Sarah, how could you be a cop? You were sold back then. How could you possibly have had the chance to become a police officer among human traffickers? Watching them, I couldn't help but sneer. Maybe I was just born lucky. In this world today, the side that upholds justice will never lose. They were taken away in the vehicle. At that moment, a burly man enveloped me in a bear hug. Wow, my daughter is amazing, really made me proud. Well done. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, I was jostled around, my head bobbing awkwardly, my face flushed with embarrassment. Dad, could you please restrain yourself a little? There are colleagues present. He kept vigorously kneading her apple cheeks several times before finally stopping. Sweetheart, come on, Dad's taking you home. Frank and Heidi were sentenced to prison for multiple offenses. They had no idea about what the two of them had done before. Neither my mom nor Kevin knew. And neither they nor the company were implicated. As for me, although I share a blood relation with Frank, I grew up with my adoptive father and am also a victim in the case. My job wasn't affected either. To show gratitude to my adoptive father for raising and nurturing me, my mom didn't change my surname to hers along with my brother. This undercover operation achieved complete success, and the unit granted me a special 1-month vacation. My mom and my brother also took time off, and they took me on a nationwide tour, desperately trying to make up for all the lost companionship in one go. At night, we lay on the mountaintop gazing at the starry sky, and my brother asked me, Sarah, when are you planning to come back to the company and help your brother out? I'm almost overwhelmed with work now. Beside us, Mom was also looking at me with hopeful eyes. I couldn't help but laugh as I watched him, head down, furiously tapping his phone to reply to messages and go through procedures. Bro, you'll have to keep handling the responsibility of earning money to support the family. Just let me go out and make my own way. You don't want me to be buried in reports all day, getting dizzy and drained of energy, do you? Let me work on cases with my dad instead. That's what I really enjoy. He didn't insist further, ruffling my hair with a doting expression. All right, then you go ahead and charge forward fearlessly. I'll hold down the fort for you from behind. You must promise me one condition. Remember to come home for dinner whenever you're not busy each week. Got it. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Mom. The sky above was dotted with countless stars. Tomorrow would surely be a fine day. After hearing the story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.